This lecture has been made available to you courtesy of the American Numismatic Society.
Today we're joined by ANS Collections Manager Aadya Bedi and Dr. Jesse Kraft, our Resolute Americana Assistant Curator of American Numismatics, in honor of Mothers and Mother's Day this Sunday, or at least here in the United States. Aadya and Jesse are going to be sharing just several related pieces from the ANS collection. And so with that, I'll turn it over to you two.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
So as Ryan noted, and many of you probably know, this Sunday is Mother's Day. So as part of our kind of holiday theme that we have picked up here at the ANS, we're going to focus on Mother's Day. So we basically have set this up into two different trenches, even though it's called Medallic Motherhood. We did bring in some coins as well, so it's not all going to be medals. If we could share the PowerPoint.
Yep.
I'll get started with that. So basically, I just have a few slides about the Mother's Day and the Mother's Day medals. And so a brief history on Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a relatively recent creation. There were early attempts after the US Civil War and also in conjunction with the temperance movement in the 1870s and 1880s. But it was actually established by Anna Jarvis with the help of John Wanamaker. Anna Jarvis's mother, Anne Jarvis, was kind of instrumental in those earlier iterations, and she passed away in 1903, 1904, 1905, somewhere around there. And then kind of in her memory, Anna Jarvis picked up where Anne Jarvis had left off. There were first observations in Andrews Methodist Episcopal Church in Grafton, West Virginia, as well as in the Wanamaker Auditorium, which was actually in Wanamaker's store in Philadelphia on the same day. And this was in 1908. It was officially declared as a holiday by West Virginia in 1910, and then other states quickly followed suit. And then it wasn't until May of 1914 that US Congress designated the second Sunday of May as Mother's Day. President Woodrow Wilson issued a proclamation the following day. Interestingly enough, within a very few short years, Mother's Day became very commercialized, and Jarvis herself kind of led a movement to get rid of Mother's Day by 1920, so which is pretty interesting. Here we see Anna Jarvis circa 1930 to the right. Pretty quickly, it became a global phenomenon. We have Muttertag in Germany by 1923. After World War II, US influence in Europe and in Japan kind of made it an institution there. Great Britain, France, Japan in particular. Today, about 150 different nations celebrate Mother's Day. Not necessarily all of them on the second Sunday. Many of them do, but just have a Mother's Day in general. So, Medallic Motherhood. Generally speaking, most are art medals as opposed to award medals or medals that commemorate a specific event. If you look at a lot of these, they help the viewer understand socioeconomic concept of motherhood, especially in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. That's when a lot of these medals, especially the ones I'm going to show today, and even if you look earlier or later, you won't, for some reason, see a lot of medals related to motherhood, but it was this kind of sweet spot in either direction of a few decades of 1900 that you just have kind of a great surgence of motherhood medals. At the time, children were beginning to be viewed differently. Before, they were essentially seen as miniature adults put to work at a young age. It's really in the 19th century that the kind of the concept of childhood comes into being, that we understand it now. There are earlier people who kind of saw this, like John Locke, famously in the 17th century, kind of conceptualized a childhood, but it wasn't until this late 19th century that it became a popular phenomenon of having a childhood as we know it now. So anti-child labor laws were enacted during this period, and also schooling improved, and it was kind of more expected that children went to school, and this was reflected in motherhood as well. Reflected in images of an importance placed on motherhood. So you just kind of see that the mother as a person is the focal point of all of these medals. Interestingly enough, when you look at these medals and then compare them with other medals that are being made at the time, they're really juxtaposed next to commemorative medals, war badges, award medals, so on and so forth. And they do kind of constitute their own type of medal. A lot of these medals have distinct similarities, despite the vast number of medals and various places, different artists that make them. You won't really see many crying babies. There's no dirty diapers, no negativity. They're all idyllic in nature, kind of the perfect mother, the perfect child. All are babies with toddlers, therefore relatively young mothers. It's not very, very rarely will you see an adult child and an older mother. It really has a focus on the early life, the beginnings of life. Very few of these medals kind of focus on the whole circle of life. It's really just a main focus on the early portions of life. Most portray mothers kissing or nursing their children. So there's certain events, quote unquote events, happening in most of these medals. Most are void of a background. If there is a background, there might be some nursery objects or rural outdoor backgrounds of trees and stuff like that. Interestingly enough, while going through the medals that I want to show everyone today, I did find a few medals that represent motherhood that do go against some of these similarities and against the themes. So I brought those out in particular because there are more themes than what I spoke about in the previous slide. So if we could go to the coin camera, I will show some medals. So a lot of these are bigger medals. There's a few smaller medals. This is one of the more famous medals by Oscar Roti, focusing on maternity. I put in a Lincoln cent there just to show the relative size of the piece. It is a very large piece. I think that he may have made this in 1897 or somewhere thereabouts, but this was made just before he quite famously became the Medallic instructor for Victor David Brenner. So Brenner ended up going to France and studying under Roti. And so we have this piece that Roti made. Roti also made many, many, many medals, and also a lot of the coins, like the 1 franc coin that was in circulation from, I think, 1898 until the 1970s or 80s, or maybe even just before the euro was, that was a Roti design. But while Brenner was studying under him, Brenner had made this piece, which is very similar.
Wow, it is.
So I can put this piece next to it again.
Oh my God.
So you can see the similarities.
All right.
The original Brenner design he had made in 1899 as a large piece, just like the Roti piece. This piece is from 1911. It's from the Circle of the Friends of the Medallion series that Charles Decay had made, kind of created, which only lasted a handful of years. And the main difference between this piece and the earlier Brenner piece is the bassinet here in the corner. The original doesn't have the bassinet, but this piece does. And then later, after Brenner's death, the Medallic Art Company actually received the dies through Brenner's brother and turned this into a stock design. So by the 1950s and 60s, this piece became popular to buy and then give as a gift to young mothers.
To young mothers, okay.
So this is cool because it comes in the original Circle of the Friends of the Medallion book, which has a few pages of text in there that talks about mothers and motherhood in particular. So a nice original piece here. Yeah. There was one quote that I wanted to read if I can find it again. Here we go. It is Coleridge who calls a mother the holiest thing alive. So that was a nice little quote that I found. So those are the Roti and Brenner pieces, but then I do have a kind of whole other tray of different motherhood pieces. A lot of these I don't know too much about. I was literally just going through the trays and said, hey, there's a mother with a child. I will pick that one.
Oh.
So this is a little bit smaller. You can see with the penny there. But just shows a mother. I mentioned the rural background with the trees.
Right, yeah.
So a young mother with a toddler.
The book.
Yep, the book. So that also reinforces the theme of education, and yeah, that's a nice, lovely piece. This is French by Charles Pillet, and then on the reverse we have older children playing games. This period in particular is one of my favorites. In fact, in an upcoming A&S magazine article by Aadya Bedi, part of it was a little interview about what is a medal, what's your favorite, and I couldn't actually pinpoint a favorite, but I did choose this 1890s, 1900s French period as some of my favorite, just because of the beautiful artistry involved. It really is a high point in the Medallic arts. Another piece, I showed you the Roti piece. Here's another piece by Roti. This one kind of goes against the idyllic nature and is kind of, you see a mother with her two children, and she's actually asking for help. So this is a medal that is essentially a commemorative or something along those lines for public assistance. So these types of medals for public assistance was especially, there's quite a few of them, and different associations involved with that, like right around World War I. Yeah. So producing medals and just offering public assistance. But again, you can see why Roti is considered one of the masters in the medallic arts. I mean, it's just
beautiful.
Quite, beautiful medal.
There's a movement to it. That's
Indeed.
The thing.
Yeah, exactly. And not just me moving it back and forth.
No, not just you moving it back and forth. No.
Another one. Let's stick with France. So here's another one that's in similar veins to the public assistance. This is in the wake of World War I. This piece is from 1917 by George Petit, and it's for war relief to families and children. So, not all medals related to motherhood are they're not all positive.
Not celebrating motherhood,
Exactly.
Which is interesting actually, because I wish now that I had done it, if I had known that you were choosing these medals, because there is a coin. I think it's an Indian 5 rupee coin that was minted in, I think, 1996 or something, but it's got a mother, it's got, the symbol of family planning and a mother and a child. And it says, swast bacha swast ma, basically healthy mother, healthy baby, because mothers were so malnourished at that point in time, right? And the minute people didn't care about the mother, it was all about, the baby, and the mother wouldn't get enough food, had to sacrifice food. So it was, I wish I had got that thing. It would have been interesting. Yeah, because motherhood is not always.
Indeed, yeah. Here's the reverse of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially children at a sort of soup kitchen sort of thing. All right. Here's another French piece. I think this might be, yeah, this is, I'm just going to go country by country. So this is the last of the French pieces that I have. And here's another kind of unfortunate representation of motherhood. You have a mother and child, but this is actually, the mother is France and the child is Algeria. So here you have, mother and child as metropole and colony, essentially. And this is the centennial of French colonization of Algeria. But it's put on as a positive light, where the mother is essentially, France is essentially a benefit to Algeria despite the colonial past. Sorry, this Mother's Day presentation is taking a bit of a negative turn.
Yeah.
That's the facts.
No, we have some good
facts of
stuff
life.
coming up, right? We have some.
All right. I'm going to go to the United States. I only have a few from the United States. Actually, no. I'm going to go with Belgium first. I'm going to save one from the United States until the very end.
Let's do one continent at a time.
One continent at a time.
Okay.
So here is a Belgian piece. Again, I don't know too much about this piece, except that it's quite striking in form and artistry. You see a mother with a toddler and a young child, and similar with French medals, Belgian medals, being their neighbors to the north, were also very making exquisite medals during this turn of the century. All right. Here's another one. I mentioned the theme of nursing. So here's a mother nursing a child. And there's quite a few with this theme. This is by an artist named Yasensi, and he made a lot of medals related to motherhood.
Wait, where did you say this one was from?
Belgium.
Belgium also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Trying to get the natural light on the medal for everyone to see it. It kind of drowns out if I put it flat. All right. Let's go with Austria. Here's another large piece. This one is called The Wishing Well. So there's a lot going on here. It's not just a mother and child, but the central theme, you do see kind of a mother who had just given a coin to a young child to throw in this wishing well, and perhaps instructing what a good wish is, or just the what a wishing well is. So I found this to be an interesting piece with with a lot going on.
Some instruction going on.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is uniface, so I'm not going to flip that over. Kind of going back to this negative theme. This is for you see a mother and child, but again, kind of asking for help. And this is for really not post World War I, but contemporary to World War I. The Leopoldine Foundation for Care of Crippled Children. So children who are actually wounded during the war, and then the mothers essentially needing assistance in that regard. Okay, I only have 3 more pieces, and I'm going to shift to the United States. This is a nice piece here, a large piece. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. This piece is by Henry Herring, who famously was an assistant and trained under Augustus St. Gaudens. A lot of his work, you can definitely tell the artistic influence of St. Gaudens in Herring. And nice, beautiful piece, again, with that theme of teaching, instructing. We see a mother with a young son. This is actually, is named. It's Alice Dowles, and the child is Stephen Olin Dowles. You can see their names kind of right here.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
right. Oh.
And this piece dates from 1909. So just after St. Gaudens actually passed away in 1907. So St. Gaudens is known as, he made a handful of medals. He made a lot of large memorial-sized pieces, but then, of course, probably most famous for numismatists is the $20 gold piece and the $10 gold piece. So he designed coins as well. This next piece is also by a coin designer. He doesn't have any designs linked to his name, but Adam Peets was an engraver for the U.S. Mint for several decades, and this is his mother. So this is an interesting piece where usually a lot of the pieces that I showed you were either anonymous mothers with anonymous children or well-to-do patrons who had enough money to have themselves kind of cast in bronze. But this, Peets decided to commemorate his own mother with this little piece, and it is a rather small piece. You can see it compared to the penny. It's maybe the size of a silver dollar or so, and it's uniface, so nothing there. And the last piece that I wanted to show is actually for all the mothers of furry children. So here we have a mother with her dog. I just found this was a cute piece that kind of celebrates a different form of motherhood that's quite striking. This piece was also made by Janet Scudder, who's extremely talented, but in my opinion underrated. She doesn't get enough written about her.
What is the date for this piece?
1901.
1901. Yeah.
So that's all I have in the medallic sense, and I think Aadya has a few slides that she wants to show.
I have a few slides. Yes, I do. I sure do. I'm going to contrast a little bit from Jesse, who focused on these very beautiful, well, mostly very beautiful art pieces from the 19th and 20th century. I studied the wrong chapter for the exam, I guess, in some ways, right? I was focusing on coins. So what I really want to do is, in contrast to him, focus on these very manufactured moments on coins, on public-facing political mothering. So I really wanted to look at motherhood and the state. But actually, yes. So before focusing on mothers depicted in coins, on coins, with their usually their male offspring, which were either future kings and heirs or were present kings, and looking at those specifically. But before I do that, I wanted to just talk a little bit about ancient Greek coinage, because I was going through those trays, right? Jesse and I were in the vault trying to find our material to show you today. And I was going through those trays, and I couldn't find an image of a mother and a child on any of the Greek coins. Now, I'm sure a lot of you out there who know a lot more about this than I do can maybe point me to a specific coin with this image. But of course, what is clearly in the trays, abundant in the trays, is the presence of goddesses, right? So the idea of the mother goddess, or a patron goddess, or a city goddess, right? They are on all those ancient Greek coins. And so I actually have a couple of these slides talking about the goddesses. But what's interesting, at least for me, is that the goddesses really provide this, they perform the same duties as a mother does, right? So they provide protection. They are symbols of fertility and abundance and prosperity. So I did want to just do a quick section of these goddesses on coins, and then we'll go on to real mothers on coins. So let me just share my screen. All right, Jesse. So here, of course, we have Athena, right? Athens, Athena. This, I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. We have Rome's Roma, rather. And this is interesting because on the reverse, we have Roma sitting on shields, and we also have the she-wolf. And if you can see clearly, we have the two little babies there underneath her, suckling her, I think. And we also have the birds, the twins. So this was kind of an interesting coin for me. And then, of course, in the Kushans, we have the Ardrashko, which is really kind of like a prototype of, I mean, for me, it's kind of like a Lakshmi type of coin, you know, a goddess. This was made in Takshashila. And then this, of course, in the Byzantine coinage, we have so much of Mary. So I just wanted to put that in. And in the last one, we have Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is also kind of like a mother goddess. She is a goddess of, when a woman, in fact, gets married in India, you know, and moves into a family, it's like, oh, a Lakshmi has come into the house. Now she will provide children and good luck and wealth. So
this is the Lakshmi, though.
So this is the Lakshmi.
The Lakshmi.
Yes. So that's a couple of those goddess, mother goddess or goddess idea, mothers, you know, ideas of that. But let me actually then now talk about real mothers, right? So, and most of you may know this already, but looking at real mothers on coins, motherhood is a very, very powerful construct, right? So for a woman, once she became a mother, her status was elevated, right? She could then participate a little more in the political, not economic maybe, but social, cultural scene. So, of course, the main thing was the ability to produce a male heir. And as we know in so many of these stories, historical stories, if you don't, you know, sometimes your life is at stake. So the first mother I wanted to talk about was Faustina the Younger, who we know had several children, I think 13 or 14 children, but only, I think, 6 of them survived. She is, of course, the mother of Commodus, and she is the wife of Marcus Aurelius. She spent a lot of time, now, of course, there are lots of rumors about her and how she was, you know, quite ruthless. She was somebody who had quite a large sexual appetite. And she did spend a lot of time in the military camps with her husband. And she was called, I think they gave her a name, they called her Mater Castrorum, so mother of the camps. And after the birth of her first child, we see her being elevated to Augusta before her husband. And of course, she's seen on many coins. So that's her. I'll actually show the coins after, I guess, or should I show them while?
It's up to you.
What do you think? Well, maybe I'll show them while, you know? So let's get Faustina up on the screen. And so there is the portrait of her, and you can see her as Faustina Augusta. And if you turn it around, I love this because she's with all her children. You know, she's holding 2 in her arms. She's got them around her. So really, in some ways, also a celebration of motherhood. But this is also a celebration, I think, of power, of you know, a lot of other kind of political power as well, right? Because she has these children. Okay, great. So then I also have another one of Faustina, the younger, junior. And this is actually, this is Antonius Pius. But if you turn it around, you have kind of the whole family. And I thought this was really cool because you have Antonius Pius, you have Faustina the older, you have Marcus Aurelius, and you have Faustina the younger. So I thought this was kind of like a cool coin.
Cool.
Okay, so of course the next mother that I wanted to look at was Julia Domna, who of course we all know has a lot of coinage as well. She was also a political empress who was very, very influential. She received also the title of, I think she was the mother of invincible camps. She was not just the mother of military camps, invincible camps. So she was the wife of Septimus Severus and mother to Geta and Caracalla. And of course, there are many, many coins and medallions as well that are dedicated to her. As a mother, we see her a lot as the mediator between her two sons, you know, but of course, one is ultimately killed and the other one does get the throne. So let me get, there is this, yes, that's the one. Right, so you have the obverse with Septimus Severus, but then you have the reverse with the mother between her two sons. So you have her between Caracalla and Geta.
It's a beautiful coin.
Yes, it is a gorgeous coin, yeah. And you know, ultimately, I guess it's Caracalla that wins out. There is so much intrigue that goes on, of course, in these political relationships, and that's quite interesting how a mother can play an important part in that. Then the next one I really wanted to talk about was actually a Sasanian coin, where, now I'm going to muck up this pronunciation, but let me try. Shapur Duk Tak. Shapur Duk Tak. She was the wife of the Emperor Bahram II, not III, II, and she was given the title Queen of Queens because he held the title of King of Kings. So she became Queen of Queens. And Bahram also minted several coins of her and his son, Bahram III. And I picked two coins, and I don't know why, but I just love these coins because there's something about them that is, I don't know, it's the family looking on to its future, I guess, in some ways, right? Parents looking on to their future, that seems. So we can maybe take the silver one first. Right, and so, or actually that the other side. Right, so we have the emperor and the empress, and they are looking on at a prince. The thing about this that I find interesting is that she always has different things, like there are many, many coins that are minted she wears a different headdress in them. Okay. And I'm not really sure what these different headdresses signify, but they're either eagles or boars or griffins. So she's always wearing a different headdress, but they are both looking on at the future prince. And that is, of course, the fire temple. These are Zoroastrian coins, so they did worship fire. And I also have a gold coin, which I really like. This is a beautiful little coin. With the same thing really on it. The father, the mother, looking on at the child. And that's the same fire worshipping with the priests. All right, thanks, Jesse.
You're welcome.
So those were the coins that I chose, but I also wanted to throw in one Roman coin, which I just really like the coin. but it is Hadrian, and if you put the reverse on there. And of course you have Romulus and Remus suckling the she-wolf, and it's just such a gorgeous coin.
Definitely. So the she-wolf is considered the mother of Rome, correct?
Well, the she-wolf was considered the mother. Well, they did actually have, yeah,
the founders of Rome.
I mean, they did have a human. I mean, not a human, a mother, a mother, not a human mother, but a mother.
Right.
But they were kind of looked after by this she-wolf.
And then they founded Rome.
Yes, and then Rome, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, so that was my. Of course, there's so many coins that one can actually choose, and medals, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But we do have a few.
We do have, the link was put in the chat for that 1996 5 rupee coin.
Oh.
So I don't know if we're able to show that, and if you want to.
Oh yeah, the 5 rupee coin. Maybe we can look at it. I don't know if it's gonna. Yeah. So there it is. Right. So share screen.
Oh.
Share screen. Why isn't it doing? Am I sharing the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so there it is. There's the mother with the baby. Mother's health is child's health.
And this goes into a similar theme that I showed in quite a few.
Right.
Yeah, for nurturing and taking care of the mother and making sure that everyone is healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have 2 sons, you know this. And after I had my second son, I remember taking him to the pediatrician, right? And this was his first appointment after he was born. And the first thing the pediatrician asked, and this is the only person who's really ever asked me that question, he was like, oh, I know the baby was doing fine, right? The baby was doing great. He was like, but how are you? Because when the baby is doing great, it is the mother I'm concerned about, right? And you have a newborn.
Indeed, yes.
So I'm sure Natalie, your wife, is also going through, quite a lot of that.
Indeed.
That stress of having a newborn baby, right?
Yeah. Are there any questions? Above the she-wolf coin, it says COS. Do you know the meaning?
Oh, man.
I think of this one.
The she-wolf coin. Of course, I should know this, right? COS. Maybe somebody else knows that, no? COS. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me neither. COS.
Oh, there we go. We've got somebody saying that. COS is council 3 times. That's what it is.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, Mike, go ahead, please.
The Soviet Union awarded medals to mothers who bore many children, the Order of Maternal Glory. Does the ANS collect or have any of those decorations?
We don't have any of the orders. We do have quite a large collection of Soviet medals, but they're all table medals. We don't have too many non-US orders or decorations of that sort. We do have a few, but unfortunately not too many of them. I know that the Soviets issued quite a list of different orders, and yeah. I've been going through our Soviet medals actually fairly recently, and I've learned a lot about them. But unfortunately, the orders we are lacking in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Worth mentioning the Sacagawea dollar from Thomas. Yes, the Sacagawea dollar is one of the few coins of the United States that actually do show a mother and child. Unfortunately, because the United States issues both a coin dollar and a paper dollar, the paper dollar is used more out of convenience. So a lot of people may not have even really seen a Sacagawea dollar in circulation. I know there's other places that use them, even in Latin America, that use US dollar coins much more readily than we do here. We have actually the Order of the Maternal Glory.
Should I do the share?
Sure.
Maybe we can also pull up the Sacagawea, just so that people can see it.
So here are the 3 different orders. I'm not sure what the 3 different meanings are. Just looks like the same design, just different enameling happening. Different bows as well. All right.
Now, I'm sorry, why were those awarded again? What were they for?
For having many children.
For having many
Yes,
children.
right.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Does anyone have any favorite coins or medals of their own related to mothers or Mother's Day or anything along those lines? I don't know if it's possible to, I don't think we could necessarily share screens or anything like that of others, but is there any, thanks to Thomas, we were able to mention the Sacagawea dollar. Are there any others that were glaringly missing or anything along those lines that you feel that we should talk about?
Well, there's so many missing.
There was a commemorative issued by Australia in 2002 for the Queen Mother commemorative on the occasion of her 102nd birthday, with a portrait of Elizabeth on the obverse, or maybe it's the reverse, and the obverse bears a very nice rendition of the Queen Mother as she appeared in 1927
Oh, wow.
from a magazine photograph of her visit to Australia.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's in the ANS collection. It was sold as a non-circulating legal tender $5 silver piece by Australia.
Interesting. That's very cool.
But that's what I think, in fact, is so interesting, that the idea of a mother, right? I mean, there are so many different ideas. There's the Queen Mother, there's the godmother, there's the mother, the biological mother. There's so many different
And even
ideas.
just like Mother Earth,
Yeah,
just
Mother Earth.
Everything,
Yeah. So there are these different ideas.
Oftentimes I showed a few medals that I think the one with French Algeria and, the motherland of
Right,
the country being.
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
The country,
Indeed,
yeah,
indeed,
of course,
yeah.
motherland.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's,
Mary Lannon, you can't have dynasties without mothers.
yes, you're right.
I picked
Mary.
that Janet Scudder piece just for you too, Mary. So. All right. If there are any other comments or concerns, questions?
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This was a fun one. We have the Queen. Here's the Queen Mother piece.
Ah, yes. Wait, hold on. Let me share.
Sharing. Here's the reverse that
The Sunday
Eric was
Times
talking about.
commemorative. Okay.
No, that's not it.
That's not it?
No, most definitely that is not it.
That's not a very good one.
Hold on. Let me just see if
If you put it in the link, maybe we can.
I mean, I have a very nice image of it, but I don't know if I can share my screen.
No, I don't think you can.
But if you have a link to it, Eric, if it's on a website, you can just drop it in the chat and then they can open it through the chat.
Okay, I will try my best to find such. Okay. So, images.
So does anybody, sorry, while we're waiting for that, does anybody have a Greek coin that they would say has a mother, like a, not a mother, not a goddess, but like a mother on it, maybe? Does anybody know of that? I'm going to see. Mary?
Would this also include a mother of an emperor or anything like that?
I mean, any kind, I guess.
Can you hear me?
Who's that? Nathan? Or who is that?
Coins, sorry, I've been in and out of the office. It's busy, so I'm sorry if I'm saying something that's already been talked about, but there are these Ptolemaic coins of Cleopatra VII where she's nursing the infant Caesarean.
Ah, okay, yes. So that's what I was looking, I was thinking it would be the Ptolemaic coins, but, you have Bernice and Orsinio, and I just couldn't find. Am I sharing now?
How do you share it?
Here. Bernice. That's the
So
one?
here's the coin, yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
It is definitely a step up from the piece that we had originally showed.
Well, that's her, in 1927, what was it?
Yes, 1927.
Yeah, so,
She would have been 27 years old.
yes.
I think.
Very good.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Nathan. I will remember that one.
Yep. Thank you for that Australian piece, Eric.
Yes.
All right. Any other motherly favorites out there or pieces? The easiest way would be to drop anything into the chat and we can share it from there.
So there's, Mary says there's a Seleucid coin with Cleopatra there and her son. Okay. So we have a couple, I guess, right?
We do have that.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing, maybe this isn't exactly the Mother's Day theme that we're going for because she tried to kill him and he killed her instead.
No, we are going for all those kind of mothers.
Yeah, well, big finish then, okay?
Indeed. The coin that Nathan spoke about, Liberty's actually going to talk about, she wrote a blog post about Mother's Day that's going to post, I think on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, and that piece will be featured in there. So,
Oh, great.
Yeah. So check the blog. Jamie Gray asks, wonder if there's any fascist coins or medals promoting motherhood. I think that Soviet piece probably falls under there, at least promoting or rewarding motherhood for people who have many children. But fascist in particular, there very well could be.
Yeah, I feel like the Nazis did as well.
Yeah. We also have the links to the auctions that Nathan was talking about earlier.
Nathan's got the other one up there. Hold on. What is this one? German Mother Cross. Hold on. Messed up.
So this is a one that's the Third Reich Mother's Cross of Honor. So, an unfortunate chapter in history, but nonetheless celebrating motherhood.
Celebrating motherhood. Yeah. And we have Nathan has also sent us that. Okay, yes. Oh, yes, of course, I do know this one, yeah.
And there's the mother with the infant.
With the infant, yes.
Very good. All right.
All right.
If there's any other questions, comments, concerns, I don't think I see any more in the chats. Thank you everyone for coming out on the Friday before Mother's Day. It's rainy out there, so I don't think that at least here in New York, so I don't think that there was much else you could do on this Friday afternoon. So thank you again, everyone.
Thank you.